Hey everybody. I want to talk about going paperless. Now, my overall stance is that I think it's a little overrated. Let me just say that outright. Like I love having paper. I love the tactile feel of like carrying a journal everywhere, and I do, and just writing stuff down. I've kind of gotten back into this past year of just obsessing over having actual paper books and just enjoying that. But if there's one thing that I feel like I could use less of in my life, it's paper work. And so my tips today are about two things that I think should be eliminated and we should never print out ever again. Sign-in sheets and agendas. Yeah, whether it's agenda for a meeting or whether it's your agenda for your class, which I think is a great practice actually to not only keep you focused on what the goals are, but even your students focus on what the goals are. If they have a HyperDoc agenda in front of them on their phone, or if you're a one-to-one class, that's great. But more likely, if you have like Chromebook carts, or even like you're in the computer lab for the day, have that HyperDoc agenda so they know, oh, here's my expectation, and here's all the tools I'm supposed to go through and use to do today's lesson. And you can all focus on that one HyperDoc agenda. Let me tell you what I'm talking about, or show you what I'm talking about. So here is a HyperDoc agenda that I've been working on and building and using since the beginning of the school year, and I'm reorganizing it and I'm updating it because we're going to continue this work of power standards and vertical and horizontal alignment in our district. You can see chapter 2 is what I've been working on. Chapter 1 is what we worked on at the beginning of the year. So I've been updating it, and this is what we'll use to run our meeting. I could have a slideshow. Everybody does PowerPoint, but I want to just have a HyperDoc agenda that actually get some real work done rather than just give them a slideshow with PowerPoint slides. And I find that to be a lot more engaging for me because that is where we start conversation and we can have a lot of different elements on a HyperDoc to look at together. And I've added quite a few here for us to read together and consider, and all the work that we're going to do, you see it right at the beginning and you know pretty much exactly what to expect because we have this HyperDoc agenda. All our teachers will have Chromebooks on that day, or we'll be in the computer lab, depending on where we're meeting. So it's really beneficial to keep the meeting going. How do you get this out to everybody in your audience? Well, you could go up to the share button. If you're familiar with Google Docs, you know that you can type in everybody's email address, but what if you have like 60 people in there and you're not going to type all their email address in? That's ridiculous. You want to make it easy, so you can take this link here and copy it. This is where you control all the access settings to your Google Doc, and I allow comments on them because I want everyone to comment on the document. So I'll take that link. Now it's open, so anybody with that link can access this document. I'm not going to write that link down and expect everyone to type it in exactly right the first time, though. That's where I slide over to Bitly. Bitly is a URL shortener that is great because unlike other URL shorteners, you can customize the link. So when you go in and create the free account, you can paste a long URL like those crazy long Google Docs, and it gives you this short URL right here. Again, the benefit of Bitly is that I can customize this now. So I can call it, Power Standards Part 2, save. And if that link hasn't been taken yet, then I can have it. There you go. I copied it. So now I could go into and I just write it on a whiteboard, or I just tell it out loud. But you do have to be sure to tell your audience or your students or your teachers that this is case sensitive. So it's all lowercase, or if you put an uppercase letter, it has to be an uppercase. So just make sure that that is clear. So I'll paste it in there. Boom. And you go straight to the document. It's great for students. It's great if you ever have to do presentations. You want everybody to see your work. Here's how I'm using it with the sign-in sheets. So you can see that I have the sign-in sheet right there. And that's something that, is required. We have to keep track of that for professional development credit hours. But I don't want to have to wait till the paper gets passed around to everybody and it comes back to me. And then I have this piece of paper I have to protect with my life. And hand over to someone else, and then they have to have the painstaking job of transcribing all that handwritten work. And what if somebody writes in cursive? Oh my gosh, that takes like an extra minute to decipher cursive. So instead, I have these templates, these sign-in sheet templates. And so I always go into my template folder, and you can see on the side here, I have my PD doc folder, and under it is all the PD trainings and work that I've sort of compiled. And I'm right here at the ELA Power Standards folder. So I'm going to make a copy of this, make a copy of the template. The template's done. It has everything I need to know, all the information that I need to turn in for a PD day in there, already inputted. So now I just go click and drag that to the correct folder. Perfect. So I can go in that folder and open up the template, and then it's really easy for me just to set it up and rename for whatever current PD I'm about to do. So this is the template name. And once it's fully loaded, I can edit it. There we go. Power Standards Part D. I always like to put the date on there too. January 2nd, 2018. There we go. Edit the name there, edit the name of the document. It's good to go, almost good to go. So I have all my questions already put in. Now I just have to go to the send button, and you have 3 options to send. I can embed it like HTML, I can email it out. Again, not going to type everyone's email address. Sorry, don't have that kind of time. I want this link, this middle option in the send form, where it gives you a link. You're going to copy it. Now this link takes you onto the input side of the Google form. This is the edit side. I want to put the input side on my agenda. So over here in my prerequisites, I'm going to go in, click highlight where I want to hyperlink that form on our agenda, because remember, all my teachers are going to go to this form and then click sign-in sheet, and that'll take them to where they need to sign in, and then they're done. They're in. So I'm going to put Command K. You might put Control K to add the hyperlink. You can also right click, like highlight and right click, and just go to link right there, and it'll do the same thing. I just use the keyboard shortcuts. So now teachers just have to click that. This will pop up on their Chromebooks or on their phone or iPad, whatever they're bringing to the training, and then they just sign in, submit, and then on the back end, where you can edit the questions, I can see them live respond, and then I just have to take all their responses, turn it into a nice spreadsheet, copy and paste that into a Word, or not a Word doc, but I could paste it in a Word doc, but a Google doc, because I'm all about that Google life, and I'll paste it in here when it's all said and done. And that just makes it a lot easier. That's a lot less for me to keep track of. So eliminates paper, eliminates agenda, and you know that Bitly, and there's my Bitly link to even get to this agenda here. It's already set up, ready to go. Again, we've used it before. I just keep building on the same agenda so we can see where we've gone and where we're going and where we need to go next. We can all collaborate on this document. Speaking of collaborate, this is something we're going to collaborate on. It is a slides, Google Slides document. I want all my teachers to have access to it. I want it to be really easy to get to. And so again, we'll practice that. This one's already closed, so I need to go and edit to my share settings by clicking that blue button and then get a shareable link. I don't want Mustang Public Schools teachers, I don't want my teachers just to view the document. I want them to be able to edit the document, because we're going to do some work on here. So I'll take that link, and now that's set for edit. Go to Bitly. There you go. And we'll call it, there we go, MPS Summarize Resource. And so that, perfect, is done. So now I can hyperlink that somewhere on the document, or I can put it even on the page. And so when I pull this up, there we go. Put it nice and big and bold so it's easy to read. I think Guy Kawasaki says 30 font size is the preferred font size for slides, so you can make it nice and easy to read. Yeah, there we go. So anybody could just type that in and they will open this document exactly. And then I can have my kindergarten teachers working on the slide while my first grade teachers are working on a separate slide. And then it'll make things easier to collaborate. And you can do the same thing with your students. If you wanted them to collaborate on one document, like if you wanted them to write a summary side by side, you could have them each choose a slide and work on it separately. Maybe you have students creating like a visual vocabulary guide. So you have one student here where they have to put a picture on this side and then like a description and use it in a sentence on this side. So then you have this, essentially you'd be creating like an alphabet book, right? So just an idea, but it makes it a lot easier to get them to go to this document. You don't have to type in their email or have them line up and type in their own email. You just have them go to this link here and it'll open up the document, and depending on what you set as their access settings, they can just start editing right away.